So I have with me today the leader of a pirate guild in Star Atlas. How you doing today?
Doing great, man. Thanks for hosting us. Appreciate it.
Of course, yeah. I know you want to remain anonymous, so we won't go any further as far as introductions, but we do have a list of questions for you, so I'll just jump right in. Question number one, kind of tell me about the Pirate Guild and how did it form? What's the name? And kind of like a brief summary of the guild.
The name of the guild, first and foremost, is Skull and Bones, and in true pirate fashion, the guild actually started with a mutiny.
Oh,
So when I so when I
nice.
first got it, I first found out about Star Atlas through the Radium IDO drop. Originally, it was just interesting to me as a play to earn token to make money on. And I think, like everyone else in the Star Atlas metaverse, the more I found out and started reading, I was just mind blown. So, joined the Discord, hopped in, and had a couple people help me out. And I joined a mercenary guild
Okay.
back in the original days, like maybe September or August.
Hmm.
Um, and at that point, I was doing a lot of recruiting for this guild, and I was pushing it more towards the piracy route. It's just really what I've always gravitated towards. And I had a lot of people that were with me. And at one point, there was a big disagreement between, I guess, the leader and the rest of everyone. And I
Uh-huh.
was kind of like, mutiny, let's just ditch and start a guild, just a pure pirate guild. Yeah, that day we did it. It was, and everyone kind of left and swapped over, and it was really that was it. I just
Oh,
started there. We
that's
burned,
an even better beginning than I could have hoped for.
yeah, we burned that Discord to the ground, and yeah, that's how Skull and Bones was started.
Oh my gosh. I love that. Now, going into, maybe piggybacking off the mutiny, how'd you guys structure yourself going in? What's the structure going forward as a pirate DAC?
Are you saying in a sense of social structure or DAO structure, financial structure?
Let's actually touch on both of those. That's a great clarification.
The social structure, first and foremost, before I discuss anything, everything within the guild is based upon voting. Everyone gets a vote of one at present moment, right? So
Okay.
everything's been voted on by the crew. It's partially decided by, the upper ranks, but then basically voted on in large by everyone else. So the way the social hierarchy is now is we have a set amount of ranks, and these ranks, it's going to range from, crew all the way up to myself being the king of the pirates, which that's not how my name started. It started off as leader, and someone was like, for the flair, let's throw in the what is that? The pirate anime that's out that everyone likes, One Piece. Everyone's like, let's throw
Yeah.
in a One Piece like flair, and I was like, okay, so everyone voted on that. But yeah, the ranges rank from crew, raider, pirate, second mate, first mate, captain, officer, quartermaster, of course, myself, and we have ranges for admirals and commanders, but that's not going to be in play until player versus player comes out and they have
True.
their own fleets to manage and entire social substructures. But in short, really, the social structure now is based upon activity within the Discord. You have a bot that tracks how often you're on and how much you speak and help. And we can kind of get a general sense from the community how much of a help you are to our guild as a whole.
Okay.
What's really the social structure, and just in general, right? Like how much do you want to participate? We are really early in this game. So we don't have any expectations of our crew, but if people want to go out of their way to make a difference, then that kind of shows the markings for them to have a higher rank socially. In terms of our DAO, now that's something that's up for discussion, and we don't have a set decision yet.
Okay.
It's really up in the air, but we have a lot of different intelligent players in the DAO space, all anonymous, of course.
Yep.
But they are interested in making a functional DAO. We just haven't decided what route that's going to be. All I do know is that it's just going to enable players to be able to do player PvP and not feel so concerned that it's just not a non-possibility in the game, right? I don't want to
Hmm.
have player versus player be something that's not possible for everyone, at least in large portion. So that's sort of a macro view, but yeah, DAO's like everything else, right? Everyone gets to vote, everyone gets to participate, everyone gets a cut. Sort of equality for all, right? You get what you put in. That's
Hmm.
sort of the basis of it.
I love it. Now, I got a lot of questions on Twitter, and shout out to you guys who left these. But they were asking, what's like is there honor among thieves? What's the pirate code of your guild? Do you guys have a saying or like a creed that you live by?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Okay.
So legitimately verbatim in our Discord, there's a channel called The Code, which has all of this sort of stuff in it.
Awesome.
And I can kind of go over it a little bit, right? The first line of the code is loyalty to the crew above all, right? So that is the most important part of being a pirate, right? And it attests to sort of camaraderie as being the most important part of this business. I mentioned earlier, sort of in our brief introduction, that if we're doing player versus player in a normal game, it's all fun and games. You're asked to reload, but this is money. So you need to be able to actually trust the person at your six. You need to have some sort of camaraderie in these instances in order to build trust and faith, and really have just a system that's kind of decentralized in general, right? That's really what decentralization is. Just unabated trust in one another. So yeah, at least within our guild, I'll read the code. There's only 6. We only have 6 points. So loyalty to the crew above all. Number 2, never steal from another crew member. 3, never lie to the crew. This is treachery. 4, we share all the loot. And there's a subsection in that. It's like hiding your haul will be considered stealing. 5, and this has been changed actually, surprisingly. 3.5% of all earnings from everyone will always go to the guild DAO. This originally started as 1%. And people are even wanting to raise it to 10%. So it's interesting to see the community's interest to want to actually donate to the DAO Central. Because I started it off as almost nothing, just 1%. I was like, that's less than your resources, right?
Right.
But it is interesting to see that raise.
That's awesome.
Last but not least, we are alone as one, together we are legion. So I think that kind of attests to really the whole MO of the guild. If you were, and how pirates were portrayed in every single shitty Medium article I read as Onis, which ironically there are 0 Oni pirates. It was always small bands, but they always were underestimating the whole theme of piracy. But if you really look at history, piracy, those were some of the brightest minds in general. So I think a lot of people are underestimating that these pick and run pirate idea. There definitely will be some of those, but I do think that these larger guilds like ours and the more recently formed Dark will be a force to be reckoned with.
I love it. Now, as you grow the fleet, do you plan to be space based only, or do you see like setting up a like space Nassau or a planet that's the pirate planet?
Plead the fifth.
Okay. Great. So let's kind of play this out as the full game comes out, right? Pirates exist in space. How do you guys see yourself interacting with both the large guilds and then after that maybe the small guilds as far as treaties, extortion, avoidance, all those kind of aspects?
Well, I think I'm not going to assume anything, but from what I've dug up on you, I think well enough how complex the government in this system will be in all decision making, right? Everything has macro, micro implications. So every situation is going to be situational. I'll say that first, right? As long as it fits within our MO, we're cool with it, right? That's really the baseline. When it comes to dealing with larger and smaller guilds, since we've dealt with both, I've interacted with everything ranging from a 2-member guild to, the largest of, the well-known guilds. So it just depends on what they're interested in or not interested in, right? That's really it. It's really situational.
Okay. Yeah.
I will say though, just, in theory crafting, if you were a small guild, I wouldn't recommend just flying around space compared to if you were a larger guild that might have a little more political sway. That would be my only point. But
yeah, and a good point that is.
Yeah, not to turn people away from starting smaller guilds because hey, we started small. You got to start somewhere. But you get yourself in the wrong sector of space. That's not our problem. It's your problem.
True. Now, something that is prevalent according to what I've read and watched in other games similar to Star Atlas, is kind of like this idea of ship destruction using an alt ship. Let me explain the scenario.
Suicide bomber.
Yeah, basically a suicide bomber. You're going in, you destroy that pirate ship who's now like racking up a bounty or some kind of criminal record in the process, and you have a carrier ship not involved in the situation on the side ready to pick up all the loot.
So you sink your bounty.
Yep.
You're sinking your bounty?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Interesting.
Do you see that potentially being a strategy in Star Atlas?
I think there's infinite possibilities first, right?
Sure.
I'm sure people are gonna come up with the wackiest shit ever in this game, for sure. Like,
right.
do I see someone going down with their ship to sink their, million Atlas bounty? Sure, that's hilarious. Like, that's meme worthy.
Sure.
I think more realistically will be sort of like a payment plan.
Okay.
You'll have debt collectors come after you, but who knows? Hey, look, you could just stay wanted forever, and if the bounty hunters have smaller ships than your ship, then fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
I do see smaller ships though being used like as cannon fodder for sure, like PX4s, Opals. Some guy with a commander could throw 1,000 of those or 100 of those at you. Just who cares?
Right.
I could see that being more realistic, honestly. Just sacking their own ships to do fleet damage, not caring about the asset, right? To get the overall end goal loot. Less sacking your own ship. Because we don't know how repair mechanics work. There's so much unknown. Right? If there was a guaranteed way, right? You're just like, oh, let me travel around with my bitch R8 behind me, and I can sack myself, and it just, picks my pieces up and then fixes my ship. Great. Everyone's going to exploit that, and R8s are going to be worth $1 million.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out, for sure.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see how this will all unfold. Now, mentioning ships, when you look at the current ships available, are there any that you're targeting that would be more useful to pirates than perhaps other professions?
I think the first way to answer that would be all ships are useful to pirates. I think what's misunderstood about piracy is that they thought that they were just raiders, but they had to have their own economy as well, right? So you still need freight, you still need exploration, scanning. You still need all the whole range of ships. Now, what's more useful for the act of piracy would definitely be battleships. But, to sustain piracy, you still need all the other pieces. So I wouldn't, whatever sort of play style you want to be, and, of course, whatever you're comfortable investing in, that's what should be first and foremost. Then when you get to the Theorycraft and micro specific, you're like, okay, what do I really want to do? RPG style. Then you pick sort of your route. For me personally, being a player versus player, obviously the fighter class is for me. Like, I would recommend getting fighters. But we have everything in the guild. We don't turn anyone away. So you don't even need a ship at some point. You could just hop on someone else's, right? That's the future. Start off swabbing the decks.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Let me pull up the Twitter questions. Okay, so I have a lot of questions here. A lot of them we have covered. Shout out to Jolie Canoli, Ishiki, Jose, Santi, Swadeshi, Zanta, many others. I do have the last part of Santi's, though. He's asked about ships, strategies that you could share at the moment, a few things we've covered. The last one, though, do you plan to focus on deep space only?
No, but that is our MO. I think if you want to, we're viewing this game as, not only a game, but an actual business. So in order to sustain your business, it would be unwise to be solely in one area, especially one where everything you own could be destroyed. But our MO is deep space. Like, that is the majority of our time and focus, and really where we are as a group have decided that's where we want to be at. But we will have operations in zone 1. There's only 3 zones that we're aware of: zone 1, 2, 3. 2 and 3 are going to be our home, and we're going to definitely have some stuff in 1. So that would be my answer there.
Awesome. Great. A 2-parter from Sudeshi. How does the Pirate Guild plan to protect itself from retaliation from the bigger guilds? Can you touch on that at all?
Well, that's like any type of politics.
Okay. Number 2, should the regular Atlassian be afraid of them, or is there a monthly protection plan available? Is there a pirate NFT I can hold so you don't mess with me in deep space?
That's not, we did raise that, for our sector of space. We would offer that, right? If you want, because if we are the ones in deep space, we're not ignorant of the fact that's where the rare resources are. So if we're not all mining ourselves and we just own the space, we can kind of give you like let's say a fast pass. You can come in, do your business, and then get out, whether it be a flat fee or a cut of your resources. We've definitely discussed things like that. No, I don't think and on the other part, I don't think the average SA player should have any worry for us, because 1, I don't think they're going to be coming into our zone. Sure. That's basically the 1. And then 2, like, we're not going to be looking for fights, if that makes sense, right? Like, yeah. We're not going to be going out of our way to go poach new players. That's not really that's not good for the ecosystem. I don't think no one really wants to do that. And I don't think that'll make any of our players, even our guild mates, feel good about doing that. So that's not really the MO here.
Okay, great. Anything else you can share about operations or theory around pirates or your guild?
Can't share any more about operation because that's sort of internal, right? Don't want to give away too much. What I can say about piracy in general, at least my thoughts on it, it's nice to see finally an Ooster Guild showed up, right? Because we are MUD exclusive. We didn't want, people have asked us many times, why aren't you a multi-guild? Why aren't you a multi-guild? And the reason I keep telling them is you need to focus. If we're a multi-guild, that's when you get wiped.
Exactly.
If all your resources are spread out and all your ships are everywhere and everyone's ideas are different, that's when, things go down the drain. So you need to be hyper-focused. So I would say that about piracy. Be hyper-focused. Like, don't try and be a piracy guild of all the different regions, because it won't work. You'll end up being those small pirates in the Medium article getting wrecked by C11. So don't be those guys. You're going to be sad.
Don't be that. Right? Yeah.
Link up. You don't have to necessarily be 100% in line with another pirate, let's say in another guild, but it's better to be together in the same guild and then have 2 separate guilds. So what I hope to see is, we have 1 Ooster Guild, and then I hope to see, someone comes up and makes the Oni Guild, and then us 3 as, a triage, form the ring, and then it breaks off from there. I wouldn't like to see too many, because then you would have just spread out interests, infighting. It would be very complicated. So, but we'll see. It's human nature is a funny thing.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's all I have for you. If somebody listening wanted to join Skull and Bones, how would they go about doing that?
Well, the only way at the moment is you just hop in our Discord, and that is it.
Awesome. Cool, guys. And I'll leave that in the description. Thank you again for coming on, and really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for hosting. Appreciate it.